then they're like totally somewhere else. They have maybe even forgotten about like that they were like, and I think that's like one of the main things. Like, I mean, we have been starting to work more and more with like AI integration in our business in general, and how we can use it for building itineraries, making like, I mean, some of our inquiries are like, yeah, I want to go kayaking, do you have availability? That's like a pretty easy to check in the calendar if they haven't managed to see it themselves. Yes, we have availability, and you can just confirm it. But then we also have like more complex bookings where like I was working with a request today. A father and his son, they want to come here skiing for 3 days. They were like in this mid-level of the skiing, had done some off-piste, maybe wanted to rent some equipment.
So, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Reframe First. Like, I'm Oleksij, host of the show. Let me welcome our today's guest, Oscar Almgren from UTEGUIDEN, CEO and founder of UTEGUIDEN, actually. So, hi, Oscar. It's great having you here.
Hi. Nice to be here and to have a chat with you.
Awesome. So UTEGUIDEN is a professional guiding and outdoor activity company in Norway, offering unique nature experiences all year round and around Norway itself, or maybe other Scandinavian companies, you will tell us. And so you do like all this kind of activities related to the nature, kayaking, to seeing fjords, by climbing mountains, mountain hikes, and all other stuff. So Norway is awesome.
Yeah.
That's from my personal experience being there. So, like, could you tell us, like, what you're building at UTEGUIDEN and what's the mission of the company and, like, what's the purpose?
Yeah, we have, just as you say, we do like a lot of activities. We are running our business all year round, and our goal have been to be like kind of a one-stop shop for adventures in our region, Møre and Romsdal. So this like the northwestern part of Norway. Trying to, I mean, be like, of course, like our summer season is still the by far biggest season, but we are like really trying to push it out to have activity all year round. And like one of the main things about that is to be able to keep our talents like regarding guides, to give them work all year round. We're like in a industry where like normally pretty seasonal. So like I used like a couple of weeks ago, I looked on some numbers, and I think we had in 2025 we had like 10 days in total with like no activity all over the year. So it's like, yeah, almost all year round.
So the guides that you mentioned, are they like hired by a company, or you just outsourcing them part of the work?
Yeah, we have like, you can say like a mix. So we have a couple of the guides, they are working for us all year round. And then we are like adding on. So like in the summer season, we are about 80 guides working in the company. And now in the winter, I have 10. Then we have like guides coming from all over the world. And just as you said, we are doing like a lot of different activities. So we have like most of the guides are specified on, like some of them are like avalanche and snow professionals, or they are like climbing guides, or they are doing rafting or kayaking. And some of the guides, they want to stay here all year round and do like all the kind of activities we are doing all year round. And some of them are really into rafting, for example. So they do the rafting season here. And then in October, when the season is over, they go south, like down to Africa, for example, or South America, and they do the rafting there. So we have like a mix of, I think last year we had like 25 nationalities in total in the company.
Oh, it's quite multinational. With regards to like the deals, I was looking through the website, and I found deals like from renting a sauna for 4 hours, like near a fjord, up to like a week or 2 week trip somewhere into the mountains. So like, what kind of deals do you have, and how do you like shape them, package them?
Yeah, we have like, just as you said, like a great diversity in the trip. Like, but we have one segment we call our adventure weeks. So those are like the ones you refer to. That they can be, even if we call them adventure weeks, they can be longer than a week. Like last year, we had like a bike tour that went for a month actually.
Mhm.
But those are at the moment all of like most of them are in this region, but we do some trips up in northern Norway, and we're looking into doing some more trips in rest of Scandinavia too. In this, okay, there we're working with like a lot of tour operators and agents and are helping them out to tailor made like adventure week for their customers. Normally a group from 8 to 16 people, and then we do like guiding bikes if it's a biking trip, transport, accommodation, food. So we are like making the whole package and deciding the trip for them. And then we are doing our like daily departures. So that's like more like the trip you refer to. We have like like we want to do activities all year round, and we try to for a couple of years to sell kayaking in the winter. But kayaking in the winter is everyone thinks, oh, it have to be freezing cold to go kayaking in the winter.
Yeah.
And the thing is actually here with the temperatures we have in the fjord, that is actually not a really big difference in the temperature in the water in the summer and then in the winter. Like the fjords never freeze or anything. So then we added on like a experience with like a kayak and sauna in the winter to like break up the so people go, okay, I can go kayaking, it's really cold, but then I can get like straight into like a hot sauna to just like make it easier to convince people to join on this trip.
Awesome.
This, yeah, go ahead.
And it also includes some accommodation, some hotels, so you just package everything together.
Yeah, exactly. So those two like are the like two like main segments we are working with, and then of course we are working with a lot of. We have some clients coming from like the cruise segment going into this, and we're also working with more of a like high-end luxury segment with like bespoke trip, like also like a lot of like you can say many of these day trips we have is like half day activities where most of the people that if they're not coming here for like biking for a week, they're traveling to Norway because they want to experience Norway. They are not coming here because they want to go for one activity. They can go kayaking one day, hiking another day, and therefore it's really popular to do like a half like before lunch or after lunch, for example, and then this kind
So
of
you
trips.
have kind of like week-long tours, and you have like daily experiences which you can like.
Yeah, those are like the two like main, you can say the main objectives, and then we have like different target groups in these
Yes.
segments where we are selling like quite a lot of like in the B2B market, for example.
Yeah, like with regards to B2B that you mentioned and like cruise, like I know the cruise industry is booming nowadays because like a lot of people are trying, like probably since COVID, people are getting used to cruise ship and so so are there a lot of travelers like coming from cruise like that
Yeah,
come?
in general, you can say like ever since the pandemic, we have had like a yearly growth on 20% every year since the pandemic. So it's like we haven't really reached the roof yet, and we can't really see like when we are still operating more or less in the same area. So we're just like getting more and more clients joining us here in this area. So it's not that we're like making a lot of new trips or anything like this, but like in general you see it's like it's of course like from the cruise industry too, we have like more and more ships coming for the region. Yeah,
Yeah, people come in there want to like see the maximum over 1 or 2 days
yeah, exactly.
and experience the maximum. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting one. And do you provide like with regards to like experiences, experiencing something local, something unique? Do you see this trend there recently? Are people coming to experience some local stuff, or are they coming to see like nature around?
No, I have the impression that people want to, there's like a bigger trend in, just as you say, in seeing more of the, like, you can say like meet the locals, or like they want to see like the real deal. You don't want to stand in line to see everything else as 100 people in front of you have done. And that's like, of course, have been like a important thing for us too. Like, and in our growth, this have been like really important for us to like focus on. Even if we have had like a growth in the quantity, it still have been important for us to focus on the quality instead of the quantity, and to like keep the focus on professional, like the delivery in general, on what we deliver of experiences.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's interesting. With regards to like, how do you know about your website? Like, how do users find your platform, your website? What are your main channels? So if I go to Norway, how do you find you?
Yeah. We are like connected. Like one thing is we have been in this region for quite some time now, since I started the business in 2012. So like, yeah, almost soon
I
15
started
years.
company in 2012.
And we have, you can say we have like more or less built the market of adventure tourism in this whole region. So I mean, before we started here, there wasn't any other companies. So we have like, now we see like smaller companies coming up, and they are like uh, getting fed by like the work we have done in one sense. It's like important to keep on, for us to like keep on pushing the activities on, and focus on still like delivering like good experiences for people that want to come to this region.
And like with regard to like sources of like user acquisition, so
Yeah, and like, and from like, so people like, we are like connected to, like, for example, Visit Norway, Toward Norway. We are selling like a lot of our trips on like, especially daily departures, on different OTAs platforms. I see, and of course we're trying to attract as much traffic ourselves. Like, we are using like what we can use of like social media platforms, advertising on Google ads. We are like using Meta, of course. And but I still see that we are in that position. I see when I'm looking on our like search words and what we like, who we are competing against, that we are like in quite many cases we are competing against ourselves. Like, you
yourself.
can see, like, I can see like the top six search, like the top six hits on a Google search. We are five of them, but in through Visit Norway or Fjord Norway, or like the destination company, or Get Your Guide, or TripAdvisor, or yeah, whatever.
But they're still selling you. So
Yeah.
that's a great niche to be. So you're quite safe there,
Yeah.
as long as people want to come to Norway.
Yeah, exactly. It's like important, but then I also like to like, I mean, I'm a little bit like, I mean, it's good to use like some of these OTAs to reach out to new markets, but like in general, it's like quite a big cost for coming out on, like, the commission is like generally pretty high compared to what you get, but like the and in my personal opinion, there's no need of these OTAs. I mean, our products here and our nature is so good that we could live without them. But then you need to have like a consensus about, like, because we are like getting pushed. Of course, if we see that like many of our competitors are there, we need to be there to be able to compete with them on like all the arenas.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like with like young AI agents coming into play, and everybody trying to automate everything. You need to be integrated with each of these like platforms, OTAs, so that you're like continuously in the loop.
Yeah, and you also see like one of the most important things for us have been that they have like a good integration with the booking system we're using. Because otherwise, if you don't have like the ones that have been like sleeping on building like new integrations that's like up to date. So you have like the allotments in the, like what you see on the website is the correct number. It's like you can't overbook your trips. All this is like really important for us, at least when we are like a bigger organization too. Like we have our trips on 20 platforms, and then if suddenly one platform have to be like manually updated, like, I mean, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, sure. With regards to like you mentioned you like on the market since 2012, so it's like 14 years already. That's quite a long time. So what have you seen that changed over like recent time? It's probably from my experience, like travel industries changed a lot probably after post-pandemic. So during pandemic times, people were closed at homes, and then travel became necessity, and people decided they need to travel. And what trends?
Yeah, it's like was interesting just because straight after the pandemic, it was still like a little bit of a people had like got a bad feeling of, you know, you shouldn't be flying too much, and like there was like in general like that traveling was like a little bit under pressure. But I can't really see that anymore. It seems like everything is back to pretty close where it was before for like people traveling in general. I think I have like a trend of more people want to do like private experiences, and maybe that's like a flattening out a little bit, but you saw it like pretty clear straight after the pandemic, at least, that people didn't want to be joining other people that they didn't know from before on a trip, for example. That's like one of the, and then of course, I mean, we are one of our biggest like markets is like like North America in general, and then like I would say like I mean the pandemic was like pretty straight up. I mean, there's like, okay, everything is closed. See you in a year. It was like the rules of the game was like pretty clear for everyone, and then you could just like hope for like, I hope this goes over as quick as possible. But you know that like, or knew that this will be some kind of a couple of hard years. But the last couple of years when we have had these like trade wars and all this, where we see that it actually affects our booking, especially on this like bigger, like people are coming for like a week trip in Norway. Maybe they are paying like $7,000 for a week, and then suddenly it's like declaring war with half of the world, and then even if US is seen, or like in Norway is seen as a like a safe country to travel to, there's no one, but it's just like the general, that's like the world doesn't feel safe. That's like so we see like all these things have a like a, and much more like unforeseen than like the pandemic. Yeah, we have been trying to be like, I mean, we are working like, especially in like these week trips, we are working with many agents and tour operators that are based in US. So it's like important for us to have like a good dialogue with them, and that they understand that's like, yeah, here is like a everyday business in, or like it's nothing special really going on in Norway doing that, and have like a good dialogue. And then think like we have been lucky that we are like where we are in the world, like really far away from a lot of other countries. So and like the general like impression from people is that it's like still safe to travel to Norway. It's more of like the traveling back and forth, but when you are in Norway, you are not under attack when you are visiting Norway or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so the world has definitely changed. What else do you see recently? What do you think like the rest of the market is not seeing?
No, I, I, what I seen lately, one of the biggest trends is, I mean, things is starting to go really quick in the society in general. Like we're talking about like the TikTok generation, and I saw on the news that day on how many videos like kids were looking at on TikTok on a day. It's like 500 videos. So like just these like ridiculous numbers. And I see it at least that is like for us when we are selling experiences, it's really important that like that when the customer gets in touch with us, they are ready to buy or like they want to buy. Like, I mean, that's why they get in touch with us most of the time. And then you really need to be quick in answer them too. If you like, you can't come back with the answer in 3 days because then they have been, yeah, then they're like totally somewhere else. They have maybe even forgotten about like that they were like, and I think that's like one of the main things. Like, I mean, we have been starting to work more and more with like AI integration in our business in general and how we can use it for building itineraries, making like, I mean, some of our inquiries are like, yeah, I want to go kayaking. Do you have availability? That's like a pretty easy to check in the calendar if they haven't managed to see it themselves. Yes, we have availability and you can just confirm it. But then we also have like more complex bookings where like I was working with a request today. Father and his son, they want to come here skiing for 3 days. They were like in this mid-level of the skiing, had done some off-piste, maybe wanted to rent some equipment. Did we have any suggestion where to stay? How many days should they go for a guide? How much does it cost? Then it's like starting to be like quite a big email to send back. But it's like also important that you still need to be quick and you need to catch all these answers and send it like keep the like dialogue going as quick as possible. There we see like with the use of AI to help out, like where we can feed our own agents with our input. I mean, it's just like our price list, our product descriptions, all this, but like, and then we can have like a focus list on, okay, these are like the trips you want to sell. This is where we have the best margin, and to like produce like longer texts and descriptions on what you're doing in a quick way. Where it's like before it actually took me 20 minutes to write it, and then I have to write it so it looks good and it's like attractive. And I think that's like have been like really impressive the last just the like the last year on like how texts are looking in general. I mean, a year ago you could see like this is just like AI generated. It's like sounds really strange, but now you're like really able to tune it into your tone of voice and really make it good. And of course, I need to check all the prices and all this, but it's like it's building up the framework way much quicker than we have been able to do before. And I mean, for in the travel industry, we're like doing like a lot of micro transactions. I mean, my neighbor, he sells salmon, and then when I meet him out here, when I park the car, it's like, it's like I'm born and raised in Sweden, but I lived here for 20 years and are like nowadays a Norwegian citizen. But he always like when he have sold salmon to Sweden, he always tell me, and then he's like, I just sent 20 ton of salmon to Sweden. He just like he makes like one sale and then he sell like 20 ton of salmon, and I do one sale and I sell like a kayak trip for 2 persons. So like, I mean, now the business is working is much bigger than ours, but we still need to do like a lot of small transactions. So you need to make that like the customer journey to be as good and easy as possible. Otherwise you will be like, because we are like in already like in the travel industry, we are like a low margin business. A lot of, as if you have more work, you will have more guides, more hours. Like you can never like scale it in a way where like you work less and do more trips. It's like more trips, more working is always like following up. So like need to streamline all the things around it.
And how can you scale it? Because like it is like your business right now depends a lot on humans, because on these travel guides who will like travel with a guest to the top of the mountains or do the kayaking. So how easy is it to scale this kind of business?
Yeah, I think it's like it's pretty, what we have done is like pretty unique. I don't think there's any other guiding companies in Norway that are doing what we are doing. But you see, it's like also, I mean, we need to do some bread and butter trips too, like the easy trips that just like running daily departures, easy, like no logistics. You need those ones, and then you can build up on the I shouldn't say the fun part, but you like understand like more of like the extreme trips or all these things where like but it is tricky to like have and for us it's like really important to streamline the organization and see where we are earning money, where we're not earning money, and focus on where we are earning money. And then also like able like to keep track of like when we are scaling up, we need to scale up the other things. But like AI can, for example, help us out in, of course, some way to make human work in the back end much more efficient. And we see like, for example, how to implement we have like a written guide manual, 15 pages or 17 pages, where like really everything you need if you're working here, you can read here. But if you have like a lot of seasonal employees, you have new people coming in, and even if they are told to read this before they come, not everyone will do it. That's the reality. But then if we can make this like with different AI solutions, we can make this information much more accessible. So you don't need to ask your manager, like, how do I put in my hours in the system, for example, or how do I apply for this like tax card or a bank account or all this, because the info is already there. But if we can, and those are like the kind of things we need to get rid of in the system to make it go as smooth as possible. So you don't get messages at 10 in the evening about like these small, which also raising like the stress level on our like employees.
And what you're building in terms of like automating all of that, because like you can basically automate everything, and actually the key to efficiency lies in like reducing the cost of the operational costs. Like the more you can.
Yeah, exactly. We are really trying now to like make like all the things I'm talking about to build out like different sales agent that can be like a super good help for our sellers when they are. And just because we are like very lucky that we have been really good on writing manuals, information, all this for our guides. But then after some time, it's like the documents, you're starting to get so much documents, so you're losing like almost the overview of the documents. But if you then can have a system that can read all the documents, then it's like really, really good. And like, if, for example, today I had like a inquiry from a guy who wanted to, coming from US this summer, rent a kayak for multi-day. And then he had read on our website that he need to have like a kind of a kayak certification for doing a multi-day rental. And then we have written some articles about this before on our website that I've already put into the system. So instead of this, the email is like, oh, where should I start? How should I explain this for him? Then I can easily just like, okay, can you give me a good reply on this? And then it's like feeding it with our information we already have. And which gave him like, because he also said that he had like a lot of time before traveling here. So he was keen on doing the course in US where he was traveling from before he coming here. But like all this, but like if I should get someone to start looking in the internal documents, find this info, copy it, put it in an email and write it in a way where it's like looks nice too.
How much like of a margin do you think you're losing on this kind of inefficiencies? Because it sounds like a lot of manual work that needs to be put into like planning each trip. You just mentioned that you were doing some personalization for a group of two father and son going to the mountains for skiing, right? And
I think we are losing. Like I don't have a number on it, but like I'm confident that it's like a lot of time that's being spent, because not all the inquiries will lead to a sale either. That's the thing. Like, I mean, how many inquiries do we get where we don't have? They're like, no, we will. I mean, actually, it was like another customer I was talking with. They was also coming here, and it's like, no, we will wait to next year instead. And they came up some other plans or whatever. So it's like, but when you have done the job, put together these itineraries for like 10 times, then you can just like use all these itineraries to build like a new one, like then the system will understand how to like so I think it's like for us in the travel industry, it's also like important to use all the like all the system that's accessible. And I think it's like a lot of people that don't understand how much you actually can do nowadays with like modern technology in general. Because like just as you said, like I mean, we are like a business where we are like the guide still need like, and that's like the good part in this, like the world of AI, where like everyone will lose the job. Like my guides, they will never lose the job. That's like the only thing I'm 100% confident on. AI will never be able to guide my clients up safe to a mountain and take them down on the best place at the exact right time of the day. That's only the guy that can deliver that. But like everything around else what we're doing, we need to like streamline as much as possible.
Yeah, that's basically a back office. That's why I asked, because like as I understand the business, we got some revenue from the travelers that come in. You need to pay the guides, I don't know, hotels and rent equipment, all that kind of stuff. There is a margin, the resulting margin, and that margin goes to the back office to serve the back office. Because on the back office, like you're receiving like inquiries, you need to provide all of them, like itineraries, you need to build them. You have all this communication back and forth and so on and so forth. Like each of the steps, like it's out about your margins. Because like as you mentioned, like, he may cancel after all the job you put in, he may still not come over, and probably the percentage is quite high, like, because it's a funnel, not everybody converts. The more you streamline, the better it is, the higher the margins. So that's why I was like curious, like what percentage of the total margins that you have, what percentage is being eaten by these?
We try like when we are like pricing a trip, the margin should be like 30%. Like on a week trip, we like put on like add on 30%. But then you have like but if we can then start to really like streamline the whole process behind it, then like because the 30% is what you put in before, but then if that will be like the reality in the end, when you have like questions back and forth and you're writing emails where you don't take all the questions straight away, so you need to send like another email and like all this,
For sure.
time consuming.
Yeah, it's time consuming. It's in budget. So basically, what a team of 5 can do, what does can be done by one person. Like I don't know the size of operation you have in terms of back office, but yeah, it can be like optimized. Like with regards to the margins, like by speaking recently to few guests, like they all tend to agree that like the market shifts toward like two kind of segments. First is really a thin margin on mass scale. Like I had a chat with a guy who is selling tours in Asia, and he says like nobody cares about personalizations and all that kind of stuff. It's really thin margin, and we need to be as efficient as possible to sell a lot. And the other option is like expensive, like high marginality tours with a lot of personalization. Now, like you mentioned that like you got thin margin, but on the other hand, like you name some margin and plus you put a lot of personalization in. So very easy business.
And for us, like as I said there in the start, we are like working in different target groups too. So in like some of them, we have like a lower margin, and then you have like in like when we are working in the luxury segment, there's like normally not a case of the cost is irrelevant. I want to do this and I want to do it at this time. Fix it. And then if it costs 1,000 or 10,000, that doesn't matter because they have like a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time. And so it's like, and that's like where we are working we are delivering activities to like a lot of different target groups, but we have also been eager to get like kind of, I shouldn't say like a monopoly, but we have like a really big chunk of the total adventure market in this region. And we can of course say like, okay, we want to drop this segment because we have like a not as good margin in this segment, but then we also open up for potential competitors to to dig into our market, as like when we have now a big part of the market, then we can hold like a kind of a vacuum on the market too, which is like beneficial out like from a business strategy perspective for us. And then I think we have been like really good on like streamlining the like organization like now lately, and really start looking into like, okay, where can we work smarter, and where can't we work smarter, where are we like, and where like in the strategic part too, like, okay, this one cost us to deliver these activities, cost us quite some money, but we want to be here because it's important for our brand. Like if I would be like 100% commercial, then we would probably just close the business of the only do like the peak summer season and then close the business rest of the year to just like cut all the costs we can. But like for me personally, as a owner of the business, it's also important that we are able to contribute to our local communities where we are doing our business, and that we do much better with not closing when the season is over. We have like taken over like a small boulder gym here in Stranda where I live that went bankrupt after 2 years. Like we will never earn any money of that on that boulder gym. But if we can level it on zero, and we will like the tourists is coming here using our nature, but then the use of our nature will benefit all of the people who lives here. For example, we have given like free access for the boulder gym for like the 1st to 7th grade in school. So they're climbing a couple of days a week for free. So that's like kind of that's not any like economic value on that, but like for me, I sleep better when I know that we are like contributing to the local societies in that way.
Yeah, that's I hear a lot. That's a big trend, like sustainable build way of running business. So that's especially in travel, so that you do care about local communities and the way they evolve and they benefit from you running business there.
Yeah, and I think that's like also like something that everyone say it's important and it's like a trend. But then on the other hand, I see a lot of businesses that I see some of our competitors, they don't do as we do. They take the part where they have like the biggest income, and then the rest of the year they just like closing down and are happy with that. And that's like one of the things I feel is like a little bit hard maybe to reach out to like our customers, what we are do. Like you just compare kayak trip A with kayak trip B. You don't say like, even if you can find some info about like, yeah, we are supporting the local communities, like, but like, yeah, okay, yeah, that trip was like a better price on that, I go for that one, the pictures were nice. But I think in like on our like bigger trips when they're staying for a longer time, they're like the customer journey is much longer. So there we will be able to like get them to really understand like the UTEGUIDEN way of doing it, why they should come with us. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Like, and what are you working right now? Well, where do you see like your business in like 1 year time, or half a year, 1 year, 2 years time? What plans do you have? So what you're building right now?
Yeah, we want to like expand a little bit more. We see still like potential for it, and then we are like investigating several possibilities for it. I think just as I said there in the start about like keeping our talents, like the guide, we need to look into how we can contribute into other businesses that are, can we share resources with other businesses? Can our guides help out in other businesses in low season? All these kind of think like much more outside the box than like I'm just working here and this is what I'm doing. Like, okay, if you are able to help out here a little bit too, then we can give you like a full-time position instead of like working on like hourly basis, for example. And to like really for us, like the coming year will be to like how can we make our business even more sustainable in that way, in like how can we keep our talents all year round, how can we increase the business in our like what we call like the shoulder season, so like the typical the spring and the fall, between, like before and after, like the peak in the summer. How can we, because we, like if we want to build up we can say like, yeah, we're earning money in the summer, let's build the summer even bigger. But if we build the summer even bigger, our structural costs will increase over the whole year. Like you will still have higher costs in. So it's just as important, how can we build up like the incomes in the rest of the year to like compensate for this. So you like, I don't think it's like you can't just like grow in the middle. You need to grow all over the year, and that's like what we are like want to do.
And what keeps breaking as you grow? Is it like the disbalance between seasons, or is it like
Yeah. You see, like we have like we coming out in end of September, then we have great numbers, and then we have like October. Like this year, October was actually pretty good, but like then you have like November, which is our slowest month of the whole year. First half of December is pretty slow too, and then we're coming into Christmas. Christmas is a good season, like a part of it's like 3 weeks. You call like 20th of December to like the 10th of January. Christmas, New Year, and a little bit extra, and then we again are back on like January, February, where it's like pretty slow too, and then you're coming in the winter, our peak winter season, March, April, and then a little bit of a dip in between the spring and the summer really kicks in, and then June, July, and August. So it's like how we can, because we can reduce some of the structural costs, of course, but not all of them. But like we need to be like getting even better use of the resources we have internally all year round. And I don't think we can get people to travel all year round either. So it's like we're looking into some, both like other, like there are like businesses that have like the opposite season from us, that have like the peak in the winter, for example. Can there be some like strategic partnership with them where you can build like a whole year together, because they have a good winter, we have a good summer, for example. There you will be able to lift each other's like low seasons, but also looking into some like other like industries, but like that are still like close connected to what we are doing.
yeah, because there's a big disbalance in seasonality, and you cannot really grow much because like you would have even bigger disbalance in terms of
Yeah.
people
And
in
when you see like the differences between like the July, that's our peak in the summer, and November, which is like the low, it's just like I mean the seasonality is just like ridiculous if you like look into like another kind of industry. I think they would be just like laughing if they saw the real numbers.
yeah, sure. And like, where do you think that the travel is moving? Like, where do you think the industry will shift in next like year, 2 years of time? With everything happening in the world nowadays, trade wars, AI.
I hope that people will be more and more like interested in where they are traveling, what they want to experience, that you like not traveling for only the traveling, but you want to have like more quality on what you're doing. So that's like my like hope, and like in one sense what I like think that like the kind of trend, what I see at least, is that people care, like they're asking much more questions about what we're doing, how we're doing things, like in the customer journey. And I hope that will be like when you see like people doing like good money in really shitty business, you see like there are like companies in the travel industry that like what you're selling is, sorry, but this is like shit what you're selling, but it's good money. And like I hope, really hope that we can get rid of that. That's like people really acknowledge like quality.
Yeah. You notice like during this interviews recently, I've noticed a trend kind of that there should be something more monetizable in travel on top of transaction, on top of accommodation or whatever. So whether it's community or trust or something, like people want something more. it's not only come over to Norway, but come over and like experience some local community, or to come over and share something with somebody. I don't know, or like trust in the business and the way of working. That's what you mentioned. Like not doing some shitty business, but doing some right business. Do you see this trend growing, or is it just like my observations?
No, I think so too. And like we really see it on like where we're like the more time we spend with the customers too, the more likely they are like, because like many of our customers, they're coming here once in their lifetime and they won't come back after that. But then you see like our typical winter customer, they're coming here skiing with us. They're staying for like 3 to 5 days and they're coming back year after year. Like in 2 weekends, I'm going back with a company group. I've been skiing with them for 4 years now. This is the fourth year in a row. And I have some customers after that coming for like maybe skiing with them 7 years or something. They're just like coming back to the same area and still like keen to do more because they think it's like what we are doing is good and they like everything around what we are doing too. And you see it like with these people coming on week trips too. That it's like much easier to sell them, to get them to come back. Like, I mean, that's like why we have been expanding and doing some more trips, for example, in northern Norway, because when they have been here biking with us 1 or 2 times, then we need to sell them something if we want them to come back. Like they're really keen to come back with us, but then we need to give them something else.
How do you actually, like, this is interesting one for me, like how do you actually manage to like, I put it differently. I have a similar problem in my company. So the problem is that my customer understands value of our company only after they work with us. It's very hard to explain this value upfront. I'm hearing from you that like clients who came over to you, they come back again and again. How do you find these like clients? How can you like sell to like these particular clients? How do you sell your value before?
Yeah, before what we have done, one thing we have done is that we did some videos, like with interviews with the guides. So like doing like like many others when they're selling experience skiing, you see like some powder skiing, some mountains, fjords, and you're like selling the feeling. But instead we made like interviews, like we called guide talks. So like 1 minute videos where like they talk about like the area and the clients and like it's so many different clients to really sell. That's like one of the ways how we try to sell this like experience and what we are doing. Like it's not only because if it's only about the skiing in the views, then you like compete with everyone else on the same way. So you need to be like, and I think that's like also in this kind of society where everything is like going quick and in one sense a little bit unpersonal. People really appreciate, like as you mentioned before too, I think like authenticity. That is like a real experience we see like with a lot of these like videos we post in social media with like normal like talking heads videos, or I've done like a lot of webinars with like avalanche awareness webinars. I had one here like a 1.5 month ago where we have like 1,500 people joining live on these like webinars. So it's like I mean people want to, and that's like really low, what should I say, low tech. It's just like a talking head like this, and I talk a little bit Norwegian, some Swedish, mixing words, and it's just like I mean, out from like a design way of looking on it is like, oh shit, like how can you do this? Like you're like mixing everything you're not allowed to mix, but it's like it's authentic.
It's authentic.
People like it, and I think that's like like, and it's important that like we at least will never forget like it's still the guide, and like yeah, this guy like he told me this and we did this, like the memories, like that's what we're selling those experiences, and we still need to focus on that. And like all this with technology and everything, that's just like for running everything in the back office to make everything go as smooth as possible.
So basically, that's a lot of talking, and to be able to deliver the messages about like yourselves and about what you do, and so that others can like hear that at some point. Because like making videos, like everybody's making videos, we were trying to like write down on the website how good we are. Like everybody's writing how good they are, and it's hard to discuss, and it's hard to show how different you are before like people try working with you or come over to you. So yeah, that's a lot of talking from what I hear.
Yeah. I think it's like
That's what I'm trying to.
important. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a really great conversation. I don't want to like match of your time because it's almost 1 hour of discussion.
Yeah.
And like, is there anything else you would like to add on top of that?
No, I think it was like really nice talking with you. It was really nice.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Oscar, for coming over and having this conversation with us. And have a great one. So best luck in what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And bye.
And you need to come here to Norway.
I definitely will. I've been there once, and I want to come over again.
Yeah.
Like these are two more
you should.
plans are Norway and Iceland. So these are like two outstanding beauties.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you a lot.
Yeah, thank you.